We managed to escape, but we saw that they were shooting people in the stomach and in the head from all sides, not just into the air. Mostly Americans were shooting.
There was a crowd. Everyone tried to flee, and apparently the Americans thought that there were terrorists among us who could still make an explosion, so they opened fire. The explosions killed fewer Afghans because it happened on the side where the Americans were. So people died in the crowd with the shooting from different sides.
Well, we've heard different perspectives. These people, some of them are still in shock. Some of them can't hear properly because of the blast, because of the shooting. But putting all these perspectives together, we now have, we believe, a clearer picture of what happened on that deadly day, that deadly incident at the north gate of Kabul airport. According to the witnesses, the American troops there at the gate were stood in a line, shoulder to shoulder. The ISIS suicide bomber that detonated his device managed to get very, very close to them, just meters away. And surrounding him was a crowd I've described before, the press of people at Kabul airport. And in that case, it was the same press. People were jam-packed together. Once his suicide vest went off, there was absolute pandemonium. People started running in all directions, including into the airport, trying to flee to safety. There was a stampede, and that is when American troops, according to the witnesses, began firing into the crowds. We're talking about troops that are stationed on the walls around the checkpoint, around the entry to the airport where the suicide bombing took place. They say that they began shooting indiscriminately, that they began shooting at people who were trying to flee, trying to jump down into the water canal that skirts the wall, that follows the wall, the perimeter of the airport. Many of the people, according to the doctors we've talked to, he says unofficially, his colleagues at another hospital told him that many of the people had both shrapnel wounds and bullet wounds. Some others had no mark on them, but they were trodden underfoot. They died from suffocation and from trauma of being run over by this panicked mob. And the American troops, according to the witnesses, again, this is all their testimony, they kept firing far past the bombing while they were concerned, while they were fearful that there could be more suicide bombers in the crowd. It wasn't, of course, helped by the panicking crowd who were running in all directions, including towards the firing troops. And a doctor we talked to in the ER ward, emergency ward of Kabul hospital, confirmed that many of the victims had bullet wounds.
There were three patients with a critical condition that we admitted to ICU. One was in general peritonitis. He was shot in chest and abdomen and leg, and he also in the hand. He did.
So he had 5 bullet wounds?
He had many wounds, but I couldn't say that all of them were from bullets.
Some were bullets.
Some are bullets.
The thing here is that there are also grisly details. This firing that American troops, according to witnesses, conducted into the crowd, well, it was entirely indiscriminate. According to some people, other people are saying that they were aiming for those people running around, and not only running around, but we have descriptions of people with both shrapnel wounds and gunshot wounds. Presumably, some of these people, according to witnesses again, they were laying down and they were shot in the aftermath of the bomb blast. After they fell down, they were shot while lying down. We have reached out to the Pentagon. We have asked them about these new allegations, these new witness testimonies, and the Pentagon has said that they are still investigating, as they usually do in such instances. I remember when we were in Mosul in Iraq, where the United States conducted an aerial bombing campaign. There were homes where, you know, after a single air raid, there were up to 100 civilians killed. So these investigations, my point is, they may take a very long time, and we may not hear confirmation, if at all, from the Pentagon for a year or perhaps even more.